I previously did a Shaman guide. I took that down because I made some changes. I'm going to try and make this fairly quick. It's my approach. Obviously, it's not the only approach. It's not even the best approach. It's just an attempt to show you how I do it. First, I'll talk about the spells I use and how I cast spells, trying to maximize performance. You'll see this is my raid lineup. I have 4 Reckless memorized in slots 1, 2, 3, and I throw in an extra in 10. You'll want 2 to 4 Reckless spells memorized. 4 Reckless memorized, and you will always have a 1-second direct heal up. If you have 3 Reckless memorized, sometimes you may have around a 1-second gap until the first Reckless will repop. 2, you're going to have to use other spells at time because they'll be grayed out. In the group game with current contact and a well-geared tank, probably you only need 2 Reckless. And so you can use other spells there. I keybind my spells. I don't, so that I can cast easily with using just my left hand. So I have a 1 through 7 of hotbar 11 bound to the J key. I hit the J key and it's going to cast the heal nuke, which procs a twin cast, and then you do squall. Because it's twin cast, instead of just getting 3 waves of healing, you'll get 6. Squall, of course, is a class-defining heal for Shaman. It's like a splash, an area of effect splash, and you can heal the hell out of everybody around your target. And you just want to use it a lot. You want to splash, splash, splash. And then if those are down, it goes to my direct heals. And finally, I have the Jeweled Apothic Hammer, which is the Vishon's Peak, 2-handed. It has a 50,000 K heal. Refreshes every 2 or 3 minutes. So I just throw it in there to use it. So that's the J's. I'm always casting that J, targeting. K is my group heals. Those are keybound to hotbar 6. And I've got the 2 Zrelix Recourse and Primordial Intervention. Then I have my chess piece, the AA Primordial Intervention, Soothsayer's Intervention, and then Rabid Bear. I don't use it a lot, but might as well throw it in as a group heal because it has a 10,000 hit point heal. The semicolon key will cast Spectre of Renewal. I have a Gyna trigger that tells me when to recast that. And it will cast Dissident Roar. And so I want to keep those up whenever they're gone around. If you look to the right side of hotbar 6, you'll see Spirit Channeling, Canny, and Force Rejuve. I prefer Heroic Stamina as opposed to Heroic Wisdom so that I max my hit points, but my mana will be lower. I don't run out of mana too much. I run out of hit points more often. And I can turn hit points into mana using Canny or Spiritual Channeling. For instance, I get rezzed, I have no mana, I hit Spiritual Channeling, I'm healing right away. Force Rejuve, I'll use that if I want to repop my group heals. So I keybind, I'm always casting, I use the... my left hand is constantly hitting the next spell. I'm always targeted on a healing target, and I'll talk about that approach. So this shows how I mem spells. This would be maybe a group lineup where I've substituted in 2 curses so I can throw in some DPS. I don't like to spend time typing out or mem spells, whatever you're are going to the spell bar and trying to get in a particular spell. So I have hotkeys that's mems Shaman or my group lineup, or this would be the single target unity Cromref, because say a tank dies, I want to just memorize the single target unity, that casts in 2 seconds. It's quicker than the group target, and I can get him his hit points and haste, etc. immediately. A dot lineup, I've got 4 dots in my dot lineup, which is perhaps a bit too much for a combat change, but I can always stand up and start healing again if I need to, and that seems to work. You know, if I'm before a raid, I want to do all my buffs and stuff, get my pet up, I can just hit that. Obviously, for the Shaman and group, I memorize all 13 spells. For other lineups, I will empty the spell bar so it's completely empty, and then I will just put the particular spells that I'm for that lineup and save that so it doesn't go over everything. And of course, you know, I have a drag corpse key instead of typing, you know, drag corpse or AVV loot. These, you know, and then I'll throw whatever other hotbars I happen to be needing. This is for a particular event where you need to target a mob and say a certain word. Spirit Leap is there because for certain events you need that. It's you know, that's just this is a flexible hotbar here. The way I told you, I always like to be targeting a healing target, someone who can be healed. So I told you I've got my 4 dots memmed. The way I do dots is I have a hotkey, and it'll target X target 1, which will be the mob. It'll cast the dot, and then it'll retarget. And here I have myself as a target because I can heal that way. Or maybe I put in the tank or whoever I want. So it's targets the mob, cast the dot, back to me. I'm hitting the J key or the K key. I'm healing. I do, you know, I have 4 hotkeys for each of my dots. I've tried experimenting with multiple dots and stuff. For me, this works. I can just always refresh a single dot if necessary, and I'm back on a healing target. I do the same thing for Mallow and Slow, of course. And then here, I don't use those too much in raids, at least these particular raids, but of course my boot the mob and root him, or boot all 8 mobs and root them. Let's see. Did I mention, okay, the L, I was talking about the semi. I also have L's. This is Blood of Tevik. It's a really nice cure, and Radiant Cure. These are 2 group cures. So if I need to cure my group, I just hit the L key, and whichever one's up will go. I also have some single target cures, but I don't use those too much if necessary. So yeah, J, K, Semi, and L. I can cast all the spells that I need to cast for the most part. Talked about how when I want to DPS, I have it do it for hotkeys, so I target the mob and I'm back. Then I'll talk about my overall setup. You notice I have my spells at the very top, hotbar 6 and 11 at the very top. That's because I don't touch those. I don't need to use those for the most part. If I need to mem spells, I'm using a hotkey. If I need to cast a spell, I'm using the J key or the K key. This is I target with my left hand, and then my right hand is on the mouse. I cast spells with my left hand. I target with my right hand using the mouse. And so this, I would have my group right down next to the extended target window. And there'll be, you know, 6 red bar or 5 red bars. And as they go down, I can target and heal, or I can use the K key and I can group heal. Next to there, I'll have the raid assist target, for instance. And then I'll usually have a couple blanks auto, so that if we get ads, they pop up and I can do whatever I need to do with them or see that they're there. And then finally, I throw in, I target and add like the tanks, the warriors, shadows, and shamans, clerics, and anybody else I want to monitor and heal, like friends or buddies that go on my target window list. And then I'm just constantly targeting and casting, healing. I'm doing, you know, this wave of healing. And when I talk about wave of healing, that's primarily Spiritual Squall and Ancient Alliance also helps. You know, you'll put Ancient Alliance during the raid on your main tank or the Bard or somebody who's going to get lots of direct heals. The analogy I would use is a cleric might have a tub full of water balloons, and anytime he sees somebody need heals, he throws a water balloon at them and they're soaked in water, healed up entirely. Whereas I might have a hose that I point to the sky and just spray water everywhere. And so it's not doing quite as much heal to everybody, but everybody's getting healed constantly. I'm constantly twin cast, squall, Ancient Alliance is helping, you know, just heal, the waves of healing. And so Shaman will often be towards the top in healing, should be towards the top. Told you how I target. I just brought this up. This is a useless little thing, but I've got my Geomatra for my charm, my cloak, Blood Drinker's coating, you know, which is gives you a little tap. My familiar, which gives me some stats. Those are things I want to cast over in the upper right. The top will be a bar full of gate and pet buffs and stuff like that. I have all that out of the way because I don't want to accidentally gate out. It's embarrassing. Then below that, I have all the kind of group buffs and things I would do. I'm doing Pre-Incarnation, Vision of Unity, Responsive Spirit, Lupine Spirit, the Pact of the Wolf, group shrink if it's a raid and the raid leader has not told me that I'm not supposed to shrink everybody. When I'm grouped, I don't generally group shrink because there are people who hate to be shrunk, and so I don't do it unless I'm asked to do it. Otherwise, I just shrink the few people who want shrink. And let's see. You know, this is meant to. My eyes are focused in the right side of the screen, the right lower part, the extended target window, the group target window, to a little bit lesser extent, myself and the directorial. I often, if there's extra room, I'll put myself on the extended target window because I don't always see when I need to be healed. But if I'm in the extended target window, I don't even realize it's me. I just see someone who needs to be healed, and I will target that person, which would be myself in that case, and do the heal. That's kind of about it. Gives you an idea of kind of what I'm doing as a shaman. You are always casting whether you want to be. You can also be a top healer and a top DPSer. You know, you can be constantly healing, but then dotting if you memorize your 4 dots. A lot of times I will have those 4 dots memmed because I don't need the other spells. And I try and get as much as I can. I am more heal focused, trying to work in as much DPS as I can. I'll talk to you guys later. This was it. Bye.